I failed the bar exam not once, but twice, and I'm here to tell you on the other side of that experience that it has fundamentally changed the way I think about my career, the way I think about myself, and the way that I define success. And I'm sharing this today because, in my opinion, we take this exam way too personally as an industry, and it is not a measure of intelligence or skill as an attorney at all. And I believe that the more we confront the fear and the beliefs that we have around this exam and break them down, the better the industry and the better the law school experience would be for it. If you're in law school, if you're about to take the bar, if you failed in the past, you need to know that failing this exam once, twice, even multiple times is not the end of your story. And in fact, failing the bar has become part of so many people's journeys. It is a reality for many people that have come before you, for many people that will come after you. And as corny and cliche as it is, you are truly, truly not alone. So here's my story. The first time I took the bar, I was right out of law school in July of 2023. I was not in a great headspace. I was deeply, deeply burned out after years of school and internships and everything that comes with it. I was really running on empty, and I was going through the motions of studying without even realizing or internalizing what I was doing. And when I walked out that test the first time, it felt like I had failed, and not in the way that you feel like maybe you could have done more. It felt like what I had done to prepare, I knew in my bones was not enough. It was really hard to deal with, but it was a really important thing to be honest with myself about, because that gut feeling was something that I had to work off of, you know? So on my second go around, I collected as much information as I could about the first time I took it. I inventoried everything that went into it, from my lifestyle to the study materials that I was using. And in my second go around, I was working full time, and I was lucky enough to be able to go part time for a bit and really give it my all. And what I did was completely revamp all of the materials that I used. I doubled down on things that worked, things that were moving the needle for me. And I stopped listening to everyone else pretty much. And I was really close this time. My score jumped up a bunch. And what that told me was that I was on the right track when it came to studying. And I found things that clicked for me and that I was going in the right direction. I knew at that point that it was just a matter of when, not if, I was going to pass the bar. I was ready to try again in July of 2024, but I got sick for a month, which knocked me off of my feet. There was no way I was going to be ready and be able to study and take the exam. I had even gotten a deferral to February 2025, but I decided after a month of being sick that I needed more time off just to be with myself and give myself some space to breathe and just be honest with myself about what I needed. I had been coming off of what felt like a decade of straight school, work, internships, studying, performing, achieving, and for the first time, I really needed to let myself stop and give myself permission to just be a person. And it was great. I started reconnecting with hobbies that I had abandoned, things that made me feel like myself. I reinvested in the relationships that mattered to me. And I pursued interests that had nothing to do with work or law or anything like that. And I started untangling my identity from my credentials. I separated my sense of self-worth from the external validation that I had been getting my entire life. I think it was one of the healthiest things to do for myself, is to do that separation of self-worth and identity. I had identified a lot of limiting beliefs and depressive thought cycles, and this over-reliance on external validation that was propping up my sense of self. If you've been in law school, you know what it's like to be constantly comparing yourself. You're literally ranked against each other, which is insane to me sometimes to think about. And you just have a sense that everyone is watching where you're going to end up, and that feeling does not go away once you graduate. To be honest, I felt bitter for a really long time after I'd graduated and failed the bar. It felt like I was watching everyone in my law school class move forward, and I was stuck. And that shame hung around for a really long time, and the compulsion to compare myself was extremely toxic, and I didn't realize how much it was holding me back. I still struggle with that sometimes, to be honest, And if you're experiencing that right now as well, even just while you're in law school, I want to tell you that it's a very normal response to an abnormal amount of pressure. And it does not mean that there's anything wrong with you. So, where am I at now in my journey? Something shifted for me in early 2025. I had gone on my first international trip abroad in a while. Sounds really corny, but really took me out of my head for the first time in a while. I recognized how obsessed I was with my own self-concept of failure. And for the first time, I was able to break out of that and just was able to see how much of the world was actually still open to me as someone with a JD degree and no bar passage. And I started to recognize my value in a way that I hadn't before, and started to break down beliefs about success and traditional career paths that I had inherited from the world around me, but had not necessarily chosen for myself. So at the point I came back from the trip, I decided that I needed some more time to just be myself, heal, let myself be lazy and bored, and start to do things that really make me feel like myself, and continue doing all those things that I didn't allow myself to do beforehand. And I started to understand in a way that I hadn't before that there's no single right path. Failing the bar made me resilient. It had given me a 30,000 foot perspective on my career path, and it gave me a much clearer sense of who I really am as a person. And I'm here to tell you that everything you're feeling, everything that you've ever felt about law school and the bar exam is real. You are not alone in your frustration, anxiety, sadness, and nerves about your experience. It's a really serious endeavor to become a lawyer. And if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And if you're in such a position where you have the privilege to take this exam, I'm going to offer you some perspective. Because this exam is one of the final and most difficult obstacles to clear on the path to becoming a lawyer, it makes sense why there's so much drama about it. But wherever you are in your law journey, you have gotten to this point precisely because you're smart, resilient, capable, and I guarantee you'd be successful in any venture that you choose. This exam is an external gatekeeping measure, like every single one that you have already conquered to get to this point. It is quite literally one of the hardest things you can do as a human being is take the bar exam. And I think even attempting it is a testament to your skill, your grit, your spirit, your resilience. And it's designed to be hard. If you look at bar passage rates across the US, you'll see that anywhere between only 40 to 75% of people pass on their first try. Chances are when you talk to a lawyer in the street that they or someone they love has failed the bar exam. There is a woman out there, Allie Robbins, who wrote a book on preparing for the bar exam, and in her intro notes, I'm going to credit her book, she says, "Fighting the bar exam is not the fight you went to law school to have. You will be much better equipped to change the exam after you pass it and after you get that law degree." And I just want you to remember that everything that you need to pass the bar is available to you. It is a matter of when, not if, you're going to pass this exam. What the bar ultimately tests is whether you can absorb a very large amount of information and apply it correctly under time pressure. And that is a learnable skill. It is not a marker of your worth as a lawyer or a human being, I promise. If you're in the middle of this right now, studying, recovering from a failure, deciding if you want to take it again, I want you to know that your journey is not behind schedule. It is yours. And the qualities that got you this far have not gone anywhere. If this video was helpful, please feel free to like and subscribe. Share it with someone you know that's in law school or about to take the bar. And drop a comment below with a piece of bar exam study advice that you thought was helpful. I hope this has been helpful, maybe a little eye-opening. I personally invite you to join me in uncovering the JD Advantage, JD Preferred world, because I know I'm not the only one out there. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.